All right. Welcome again, everybody. This is Ted at Rediker Software. This is my updated top 10 reasons why we feel that you should be logged into adminplus.com every single day at your school. Even if you're continuing to rely primarily on Admin Plus Classic, it's absolutely fine. You can be using adminplus.com at the same time. Okay, let's jump into my top 10. First one on my list this time is based on a lot of customer feedback. It's a similar capability that we had in Admin Plus Classic that we've brought up to adminplus.com. This would be attendance quick entry. So last time on my top 9 list was this, simply logging in. The fact that you can just use any standard web browser and get logged into adminplus.com. So, in about 2 seconds, was on my list last time, but now we're just taking it for granted. That's the way it works. If we move on over to school and attendance here, I do have some attendance already logged into the system today, but I want to talk specifically about quick entry and the application that's happened very often. You'll see that I've got a scanner in my hand and I've got a student ID card, and I've got this set up so that if a student walks through and I simply scan their card without doing anything else, it'll do a number of things. Because I have it set to produce a tardy slip, a printable tardy slip, that comes up and I can print that out and hand it to the student, and they can walk to their class and it'll tell the teacher, hey, I've been to the office. This is the time I was there. So the teacher can clearly see, oh, it's been 2 minutes since you were at the office, and that's, acceptable. That's all made possible by this quick entry screen here, where we've got the cogwheel and we can tell the system what happens when I make a quick entry, either using the scanner or by typing in the student's ID or name. So my system is rigged to mark them tardy using the current time, and yes, to print a tardy slip that shows the homeroom number on the tardy slip. So that's what I've told my system to do. So again, whether I have a list of these barcodes hanging on my wall, and maybe that's my convenient way to say, okay, here, Christine Allen, boom. We just quick entered her, took her attendance, or whether I come in here and, manually type in, a code like 12003, that's Saul Bardsley at my school. That goes in this is making attendance entries into the program here. You can see them ganging up here. And the other option, of course, is to look up by the student's name. So you can do that as well. Type in a couple of characters, get to the student's name, and click go, and it will do whatever you've set for the quick entry. Enroll from admissions. So again, we're talking about a capability. Of course, there's a parallel for this in Admin Plus Classic, but for those customers that are using the Rediker admissions tool called Admissions Plus, without bringing it up, we all know that that's a system that allows online applications and moving students through the admissions process. And then once they're at that point where they are ready to be brought in as enrolled students, there is no easier way to do it than use this enrollment center receive from admissions. If I highlight this particular, prospective student, because they're not in Admin Plus yet, all their data was collected in the admissions area. The admissions team is working on them, bringing them through to completion. And then the admissions office basically said, this student is ready to be enrolled. They've captured all the information about the student. They've captured the information about the mom. It's here. It's already in that database. There's no reason for me to be retyping this. In fact, there's some files. Well, in this case, one file attached. The birth certificate was put on file in the portfolio at admissions. And so now all I would do here is probably go in and get this student householded by either assigning a new household to them, or maybe we know that for a fact that they're part of an existing household, the same household as maybe Kenneth Adams, and we could go ahead and assign that household to that student before clicking the approve button, which would then bring them on over, create a new record in Admin Plus, put them in the right grade level, put their contacts in place, put the mom in place, assign the household, bring the documents into the portfolio, and basically enroll another student in the school. They would appear right here after doing that. So really, no easier way at all to get a new student enrolled in the system than by using the Admissions Plus program to do all the preliminary work and then transfer them over, hand them over to the registrar basically, and have the registrar come in here and receive them from admissions, bringing them in. The easy lookups and filters. Okay, so again, this is nothing brand new. However, this multiple student view in adminplus.com gives you this ability to come in and easily add new views. So let's say I was going to do a bus analysis by grade. And so I want to put together a view that brings in, these data fields like the bus number. And I've already got the grade level in the view. So very, very quickly, I can come in here and create this view of my data. I've got 411 students in the school. Not all of them take a bus or a carpool. So it probably would be better if I filtered this to say, hey, just give me the ones that are not blank. And there I am, 286 students have been added to this list. We also call it a view. Let me save that work that I just did by adding that filter. And now I can move back and forth from this view anytime that I want to. We can have, hundreds of these views, but we can move back and forth between things like the default student list, and I can go ahead and throw on my bus numbers or any of these other views that I've gone and created. So if I was going to do a bus analysis, then I may want to take the next step here and export the data. That usually takes about 5 seconds to bring that on out into a spreadsheet. And of course, I'm doing a bus analysis by grade level. And so in that case, what I would want to do is pull the data up here and just throw in a quick pivot table and go ahead and get my grade levels here and my bus numbers here, and let's count them up. And there we have a full analysis made easy by having that view, which I can refer back to just with a simple drop down. Of course, that'll show here. And if I move back over to my one student view, notice I still have that bus analysis by grade view on, which means that this list of students here is the 286 that are in my school, not the 411. That would be the total number using the default view. So those views are amazingly handy to create various lists that contain any or all of the 260 demographic data fields. You can be very, very selective. So have one for, a financial aid view. Have one where, if you've got, if you've got some students that are marked as being part of your special education program, or they have an IEP or a 504, and you've got a field that indicates, yes, this is an IEP student, then go ahead and create a view called IEP view and have a list of those students available with any of the appropriate data fields. So it's so handy to have. Period attendance batch enter. Again, this is something you can do in Classic, but I feel that the interface has just been improved up here. I'm going to go over to the period attendance area. I'm going to go to edit student attendance, and we're going to do a batch entry. So I'm going to use my football team scenario. Okay, it's a football game that's going to happen today, and all the students on the football team have to leave school early because it's an hour and 15-minute bus ride to get to their 3:00 game. So they're all going to bug out early, and they're going to miss the last couple of periods of the day. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is change this to a manual entry. You've got some choices here. You can look them over yourself, but I'm going to manually adjust the students' records here. I have an attendance code that indicates whether that they're going to be participating in athletics. So for periods H and I want to indicate that all of the students on the football team are going to be absent for athletics. Okay. So what I'm going to do is in my database, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. I have a demographic field that is set up to indicate whether or not a student is on the football team. So I don't want to hit all the students. I only want to hit the ones that have some data in this field. So in my field, you can be on defense, offense, special teams, or there's also a bunch of students I marked with a simple yes. But if they're on the football team, they are going to have data in the football field. And I believe that there are 34 students have been selected. And I'm going to do a batch process now by entering in for periods H and I that these 34 students are going to be doing the sports. And so all I need to do is click on confirm. And just that quickly, it has made the entry into my attendance register on behalf of these 34 students. So really simple to do, very, very powerful. There's some additional options there that you could take a look at. A printing report with markup on it. So this is an interesting little capability. Let me move back over here to attendance for a moment, and let's fire up a report. I'll just do the daily attendance bulletin. Okay, very typical report, but this works seemingly. I haven't checked every single report in adminplus.com, but this it certainly works on this one. Let's say that you've got this report here and you notice something that you want to call out, like this: Faith Efron, 5 consecutive absences. Okay, well, that's kind of noteworthy. Let's say that you want to call that out. Let me go to print with this. And you'll see right up here at the top, there's a little squiggly tool for drawing. And this is something where you could come in here and, pick a color and just draw attention to this thing. I guess you could draw an arrow or something like that and say, hey, take a look at this. And if you go to print to that or download that file, it's going to go ahead and retain that for you. So you could go ahead and, I guess I wasn't too good with my arrow there, but you certainly get the idea. You could go to print on this right now and it will retain that markup right on that document. Again, you should find that on most or all of the reports that you see in adminplus.com. And that's something in Admin Plus Classic that there is no parallel for. There's no similar capability. That's just definitely, something that came with adminplus.com. Along with the online portfolio viewer, again, this is very, very handy. This was on my list the first time around. You're pulling up a student like Gina Quinn, and you go over to the portfolio and you see that, wow, they've got this, this whole list of documents in here, and you want to go ahead and take a look at them. A simple click on the eyeball over here immediately, whether this thing is a PDF file, it's a Word document, it's a Excel sheet, it's an image file like a JPEG or a PNG file. It doesn't really matter what the file type is, but this is a PDF file of the student's report card. And many of you know that in Admin Plus, when you generate report cards, or frankly, in Classic, any of those reports, it gives you the option to automatically place a PDF copy of the report into the portfolio of the student so that you don't have to print out extra copies and you have this digital copy on file right there attached to the student's record. And so that online that portfolio viewer is very, very handy. You don't have to download the file in order to look at it. If you need to go in there and look at it, all you have to do is go ahead and just click the eyeball and you'll get that document. So for medical records and other files, just give it a click. Very handy. Let's see what else is on my list here. Okay, this one also was in my first run. It's just because we're getting so many kudos on it. You've got the dashboard. And in general, this would, definitely I'd consider this a great reason to log into adminplus.com, especially if you're assigned to keep after important data. I have one of these tiles here that I've set up that expose the number of students. I'm going to put it over here to make it nice and easy to see. That exposes the number of students who are we've defined at being at academic risk. If I click the tile, it shows me the names of the students who are on the list. So there's 26 instances in this case, and you may be saying, well, what does that mean to be at academic risk? Well, it's different. It can be different for everybody. In my world, it's that they have a current gradebook average that is between a 0 and a 69. But of course, that's easily changeable. So we're using the dashboard widget, the one that points to the live gradebook feed. It's called the grade search widget type. I'm telling it to look in the third marking period. I'm telling it to look at the gradebook averages live and bring back anybody. Well, not anybody. This is for certain grade levels. Okay, so you can set your grade levels here, and then you can set your cutoff point. So if I modify this up to a 79, for example, then I expect to see more students that fall into that risk category, and it's showing it right up on the screen there. So again, it is not necessary for you to be using adminplus.com like to run your report cards or to pull grades in from the gradebook. You can use this tool even if you're still primarily using Admin Plus Classic. Bring the dashboard up, set up some of these tiles to look at important content in your environment and present it to you here. It's something that you just can't do in Admin Plus Classic. Oh, editing incidents at the Approval Center. This is another one that has proven very, very handy. I'm going to move back to the Approval Center. So the scenario here is that a teacher in the Plus portals has submitted a discipline incident. So I'm not going to show that right now, but next week we'll certainly be looking at that webinar when we overview the Plus portals. The teachers have the ability, while logged into their portal, to bring up a student record and submit a discipline incident. It would show up right here, or if you prefer, under the incidents tab of the school page, right over here, receive incidents. I see that there's 4 submitted incidents. I'm going to bring these up, and it looks like just earlier today, the teacher, Mei Tar, wrote up Ruby Huang for goofing off, and the details are over here. So we can see that Admin Plus put in the default consequence of a telephone call to the parents. That's through automation. It happened in the hallway, and the teacher put some comments in here that the student was doing some cartwheels down the hall near the library. And we probably don't want that getting out into the wild. We don't want that to end up in the parent portal where they may see that it's, could be considered embarrassing. That's why you can click on the edit button here and go ahead and make a simple correction like that before approving that incident. And what that does is 2 things. It makes the correction, but it also changes the status of that discipline incident. It approves it so that it would actually show up now on the student record in Admin Plus. And if you are sharing discipline information with the parents through the Plus portals or the students or the other teachers, they would be able to see that corrected discipline incident logged in the system. So very convenient to be able to update those and edit those discipline incidences before bringing them on into the Admin Plus environment. Oh, another simple little thing, but powerful. I'm kind of a believer that pretty much anybody at a school, I don't care who you are, if you're generating some kind of a communication, I'm a firm believer that you should have have a proper signature block at the bottom of that outbound email. It's very, very easy to set up. You'll see here in the email area, there's a cogwheel in the upper right corner, and you'll see the email signature construction area where you can go in and pick your fonts, pick your colors, embed, like links like this. Very easy to do. Put in the text and put in even a tooltip, etc. You'd have that in there. You see the tooltip come up. Put your logo in there, get your colors, get it looking professional and comprehensive. It's just very good that every single email that gets pumped out of the system has this information to make it easy for the recipients to have the phone number and have the website and things like that. So again, we just kind of encourage you to do that. And whether you're doing individual email sends or whether you're coming in here to what one of our customers called the blaster, that ability to come in here and I'll grab a quick template here. And let's say that we're going to blast this on out, I don't know, to everybody in everybody in the high school. Make my selections. We'll send this out to the students and the parents themselves. They will work our way through. And basically what it's going to do is merge content into this outbound email. And you'll notice that at the end of it, it'll have the signature file on there as well, as long as you included it in the template. So in this case, we're sending out 322 emails, and every one of them will be properly branded and have the signature file at the bottom of it. All right, what do I have here for? Number 10 is another one that was in my first top list. A great exclusive adminplus.com feature, this ability to pull up a student record. And I'll stay here on Aaron Murray for the second. Notice right here from the snapshot under grades, and a lot of I don't know what the defaults are here, but you absolutely want to click this cogwheel here and look at these options. You can choose to either display kind of those static report card column grades from a past marking period or the present marking period. And that's what I'm doing here for the second quarter. I'm telling the program, show me the report card column grade for the second quarter. But in column 1, show me the live average coming from the grade books of the teachers who have this student in their class. So in that case, this is not a static amount. This is a static value. If that teacher just right now, while I'm working on this, if they put in a homework assignment score or a test or a quiz that caused this to modify, the very next time my screen refreshes, these are going to update. So this is a live feed coming in from the teacher's grade book so that I get a much better indication right here on the screen about how this student is doing in all their classes. And that's much better than a snapshot that might have been taken, 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago for that matter, or even more. So this is a really, really handy feature to have on. It gets even deeper when you consider that you can also generate a live progress report. So for Camille Adams, I can come down here into the grades area and run a live progress report that'll go out and touch all of the grade books for this student. This is an 11-page report looking at each one of the classes that the student is enrolled in, art class, music class, and look at the detail here on these individual assessments with scores and percentages and notes, the notes that are in there, even the narrative comments that the teacher's putting in. There's a lot of capability built around here. And if you go to this cogwheel to set up the progress report, you can further tailor the layout. How much of this data do you actually want to be included in the report? It's very comprehensive, maybe too much. Maybe you don't want so much of this information coming through, but you have this ability to go in and check all these boxes to decide how comprehensive do you want that report to be? Because it is something that you could print out right there or even download a PDF or email it out. Okay, so that's a wrap on my top 10. And of course, always want you to know about the online user guide, which is fantastic for adminplus.com. There's a lot of information here. So for those of you that are into kind of self-service, have at it. Release notes. A reminder that we do have a release number 11 coming out very, very shortly. I'm told it could be as early as next week, so we'll be back to wrap up all of that pretty soon. And my usual pitch for our trainers and training opportunities. So if you need any help with any of this stuff, with any aspect of your Rediker system, please know that we've got the training staff that are available, and your first move would simply be to reach out to your account owner or account manager here and chat with them about the possibility of arranging for some training. Okay, thanks a lot and have a great day.